beautiful life. This is Chris Summerfield TV Media production worldwide. Don't forget to subscribe, friend and share. Love Summertime TV worldwide on YouTube. In June 2021, I had 30,000 subscribers and a million hits on one video alone, so it's well worth being in touch. Let's friend share the world. So this is like a medallion to St. Christopher, and of course I'm Christopher, so that's to me, that's really good. And that means bearing Christ, so that is St. Christopher bearing little Jesus on his shoulder, meek and mild. There you got the Coast Guard across the water there, and there's one of the boats from Norway, one of the tankers from Norway I was telling you about. And just to the left here you've got an international fisheries, and quite often when you walk along here you can smell smoked fish, and it's a beautiful smell. Remember a while back there was some fish looking at dirty magazines in the sea, and they had to send in the prawn squad. I'm coming out of the industrial area at Teats Hill now and heading towards OR2, which is the Theatre Royal Training Ground, which is what I was telling you about, and that's just over there. So we're going to follow the waterfront around the side of OR2 because it's out in the sun and it's away from the industrial area. And just across the water is Richard Branson's old boat, Virgin Atlantic 2, which has been owned by somebody over there for many years since it was rescued, going to ruin in, I think it was in Europe somewhere. I hope, it's off to work we go. I'm going to say with a bucket and spade and a hand grenade, but that's the military version, which is very destructive. I'm not into destruction in any way at all. Leave that to the British media, press and analogue television in the UK. Everything I do is trying to be constructive and looking at the bright side of things, like the sun. That's why I call myself Summertime. So this is the river, I was going to say it's the River Plymouth, but I don't think it is. Yeah, it is, it's the River Plymouth, the bottom end of the River Plymouth. Get your head together, of course I know. If I could turn back time, do. So Richard Branson's boat, Virgin Atlantic 2, is up that area there, and we'll be going over there in a minute, shortly anyway. Just a long way around. That's always a thing. If you think you're following headlines and you're going to find it easy to get to where you want to get to, you've got to remember if you're by the sea, you've got always got rivers that you've got to cross, so you can have to go the long way around to get to anywhere, which is what we're doing today. So there's people back in OR2 now training for the next series of programmes going off at the Theatre Royal in Plymouth. Listen to the birds. A lot of people lose touch with nature because they're not listening. And when you start recording nature again, then you start picking up those other elements into your senses. Is the word I'm looking for. I try to be on I try and look on the positive side of everything, but I get frustrated because since being in Plymouth for 30 years, everything's nothing but put down, and you try and do things, you just seem to hit walls. Last year I wanted to record the launch of the Anthony Gormley statue on Plymouth West Hoe, and I waited 2 hours to try and catch him opening launching the statue, and the arrogant staff of the box said I couldn't record him because he didn't want to be recorded. Now that monument cost Plymouth £750,000. So, and as much part of the art history and promoting the art history of Plymouth as anybody else. In fact, I've probably been doing it longer than the staff of the box. This is a new gallery and museum that opened up just over 18 months ago in Plymouth, but he got hit by COVID, so the launch and setback and the publicity side was held back dramatically. And it's supposed to be a community open art gallery and studio, so I get very frustrated when they say they're promoting the city and working with the people, and then I was prevented from getting close to Anthony Gormley. But ironically, I probably got the best video because I was at a distance, so I actually got the camera crews recording Gormley, so I got it from an outside point of view looking in, which is the story of my work really, because I try and keep out of politics, but Plymouth over the years has brought me into the politics, and I don't want to be involved with it, because my work's always been about looking at the outside of Plymouth and looking at the bigger picture to an international level. That's why I've been going into Europe a lot during the last few years, always on the outside looking in, never getting involved with people, but seeing what's going on. And it's so spiritual and uplifting, because I've got a bigger picture in my head as to what's going on socially than most people, and the lack of experience that backs it up as well. It's outstanding. All the expensive yachts in the harbour and boats in the harbour, and all the expensive property that's going up around the waterfront in Plymouth, you'd expect Plymouth City Council to try and be promoting Plymouth as an upmarket city to come to, with top-end shops and stuff like that, like they have in places like Saint-Tropez, because Saint-Tropez is nothing but a little village if you take out the wealth of the billionaires and the millionaires, where it's been made trendy for them to go there after during the Princess Grace of Monaco period. So if they marketed Plymouth that way, then and got rid of the pub culture, all it's doing is bringing in a criminal element of hardcore drugs and drunks, which makes Plymouth almost a no-go area at night, like some areas of France have been into. And that's a shame really, because historically it's got so much going for it, but it's just being put at risk by the council promoting the pub culture, which is as been doing for years. So I'm now at the Prince's Rock Overbridge, which goes over the River Plym. Then the idea is to go over the other side there and head towards those aerials in the background. Interesting weekend in the southwest of England, actually, because you've got the top people in the world in Cornwall at the moment, near St Ives. You've got the President of America, you've got the President of France, then you've got Boris Johnson there, well, forget him, maybe, and the 7 top people of the world there, and there's more security there than people. So in Falmouth you've got armed police officers walking around with submachine guns, almost intimidating the population, closing the town off in beautiful weather like this from tourism. And the head of an organisation said he was selfish, wouldn't have it down there, and that's the only time I'd agree with the head of that organisation. And I'm not going to mention the name of the organisation because I don't like it, because I think they're as corrupt as anybody else. Graffiti. It would be nice to know the story behind these boats. There's one in Hoo Lake, which I'll show you in a minute, which is decomposing very quickly now, and it would have been nice to have known the story behind that one. Used it for photo shoots before now. So I'm just passing Plymouth Marina now, with ribs and selling equipment and great boats in there. A few years ago I covered the Transatlantic and I was taken out by one of their ribs to see the boats come in before they headed off to New York from Plymouth. The event wasn't over well organised from a Plymouth point of view, but it's a great event for me to record. In fact, the reason I got on the rib is because a film crew hadn't turned up to go on the rib, so they wanted somebody to go on the rib, and I was walking past with my video camera, so I had a rib to myself, which is an incredible privilege. So that's the range, and that's a Plymouth success story. The owner of the range is a billionaire in Plymouth, and he's done very well for himself. So this is the Jurassic area, and let's see what it says here. See if we can read it without making too much of a mess of it. Primeval Plymouth to the... I can't read it probably because of the bright sun on it. The bones found in Plymouth from the Jurassic period were here, and that's the rhino. And this is the lesser-footed wheel brace that goes on the rhino's horn, I think. Maybe not. Being silly. Right, we're heading towards the disused railway line now, which will take us down to Who Lake, and that's a beautiful, relaxing stretch of land with a park around it as well, and you'll see that in a minute, or 2 minutes. It's a beautiful day. Hey, hey, what a beautiful day for a walk through the park. Got a friend who would have liked to have brought with me today, but he's got injury to his knee, so he can't do a lot at the moment until he gets the operation. And it just shows how quick things can happen. We were taking a walk a few weeks ago and just spun round and his knee dislocated, so we spent a lot of time trying to sort that out. Damn. This has been a Love Summertime TV production 2021. You can contact me at ccsphoto1@gmail.com. If you can help to support my work, you can PayPal me at ccsphoto1@gmail.com. Thanks for watching the video. It's a lifestyle thing. Be who you want to be.